What is up, hackers? Welcome back to another episode of Hack Crypto, where we hack our crypto, metaverse, and NFT education. If you guys are brand new here, slap a like on this video, be subscribed with notification bell on if you're into the metaverse. And in this video, I'm going to be diving into the top 5 ways your business can cut costs and get into the metaverse and leverage virtual reality. Now, with the recession looming in 2023, everyone is asking the question, what is going to happen? Now, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen, but ultimately you are going to have to cut some costs. I get a ton of DMs every day about people asking how they can leverage the metaverse. These are people from small businesses all the way up to massive enterprises. Now, as the CEO of Sandstorm, we've experimented with a lot of different ways, and I wanted to go through the top 5 ways that we've seen really work for different brands. Before I dive into this, I want to make sure that I make it crystal clear here that the consumer metaverses like your Decentraland, your Roblox, your Minecraft, Sandbox, your Horizon worlds, all of these virtual worlds are the consumer-focused worlds where you have gaming, you have individuals going in there and having experiences, events, and all that. So the other side is the enterprise side. This is what I'm going to be talking about today, where businesses are leveraging these virtual experiences to increase productivity and increase the amount of revenue they can make. Now, if you are a business, ultimately you are going to be looking to cut some costs coming into this year, and you're going to be looking to make sure that people are productive. So often that is pretty counterintuitive. Decrease costs, increase productivity. That can be kind of a wild mixture, but ultimately what you need to do as a business is you need to be able to thrive in a downturn economy. And the metaverse is here to help accommodate that. So the first key way that businesses and brands are leveraging the metaverse to cut costs, cut their overhead, and increase productivity is immersive work. Now, workspaces in VR, wearing that headset isn't necessarily the one-all be-all solution here. There are plenty of virtual rooms that you can go into that are considered metaverse, and you can collaborate with your coworkers. Think of this as a 3D version of Slack, where you can work together and immerse yourself in these experiences and thrive in productivity. Immediately cut out the need for a physical office, and you can still interact with your coworkers. Immersive work is huge. Obviously, Meta and Mr. Zuck have been focusing heavily on immersive work, but our partner at Sandstorm, Immersed, is doing incredible work with this. They are one of the top apps on the Oculus Store, where you throw on the headset, you can spin up a bunch of virtual monitors and create that virtual office space. So not only are you slashing costs on your physical space, but you are in turn having meetings in that space. So meetings is a very broad term here. This is where you actually can have sales meetings. You can demo a product for your different customers or potential leads. Your salespeople can start to leverage that virtual experience. And this isn't necessarily all with a headset on. There are different VR-based sales platforms that allow you to literally just have a browser, send them a link just like a Google Meet or a Zoom, and they are able to see those products in a virtual situation on their browser. So they can literally see it in their environment, play around with it, dabble, and get extremely interested in it in a virtual experience. So the first way is the work in the metaverse. That is a lot of different things that go into that through running a business completely in a virtual experience. It is going to be a huge market, and it is a thriving space already, with lots of businesses already cutting out their physical offices and moving virtual. And there is a hybrid model where you can have a physical space with a few employees. All of your remote employees can come together each day in this virtual experience that is a work space, and you can collaborate together, have meetings with potential clients, and so on. So I wanted to start with the biggest one, obviously being work, and that is a very broad term. But the next one is customer support. This is one that I have really been diving into deeply over the last couple of months here, because we went to CES last 2 weeks ago, I believe at the beginning of January of this year. And there was a ton of talk around what VR means for customer service. So what that would enable would be someone has a complaint, they need to talk to an individual at a company. Instead of going to a Zendesk ticket or one of these ticketing systems, they can actually go in and interact with NPCs. They can interact with an individual there in a virtual experience where they can go back and forth and communicate about issues. And it is the next step in customer support. For a lot of companies, customer support is make or break. Customer success is kind of what the startups are calling it, but ultimately it is supporting customers with inquiries and questions that they have in order to give them an amazing experience. Next up, we have employee training. Now, when anybody is hired remotely from across the world, training is an issue. This is when you need to get somebody upskilled quickly, interacting with customers, depending on their role. If they're customer facing, you need to have them in an immersive experience. Usually that physical experience is what a lot of inbound salespeople need. And this is across the board here. So when people are getting onboarded into a company, there's a lot of different approaches. But ultimately, Zoom calls and things like that are unique, but they're not the one all be all. The interactive, immersive experiences are coming up. They are getting out there pretty deeply into this market already. I've seen a lot of pretty cool onboarding ones where you're able to actually get your hands virtually on different things and move around and play around. Retail is going to be huge with this space. So retail workers are going to be able to do this anywhere in the world. So what does that mean for the business owner? That means that you can hire someone to work in your virtual retail experience from anywhere in the world. That breaks down the geographic barrier completely. If somebody from India can work as a clerk in your retail experience that is there in real time to respond to customers and sell them on things while they're in your store, that is a full immersive business. And this is going to be more common over the coming years. Next up, we have entertainment. Now, there's plenty to be discussed around the entertainment industry as a whole, but as a business, how are you working with entertainment? Are you selling tickets to events for customers? Are you upselling them on meetups that you're having? Are you interacting with your customer base in a unique way? And the answer to this question in VR is you can do all sorts of cool physics-defying events with customers and users. So what does this mean? This means that you can literally onboard your customers and your users of your product into a really unique experience. You can sell tickets to it. You could sell items within that world to those customers, cross-sell all different types of services with partnerships. And there's a lot of really cool things that you can do with that entertainment factor. Now, the biggest one that I have seen and actually had on this channel was the Anthony Hopkins movie that he released that was sold as an NFT. They did a premiere. That premiere could be in the metaverse. You could literally go to a movie premiere in a floating movie theater anywhere in the world, 24/7, 365, would have access to it with something in your wallet that allowed you to get in. This is the next level of how movies will be premiered. Netflix, all of these streaming services will definitely have presences in the metaverse over the next 12, 24 months, because enabling people to get into these experiences where it's not just sitting on their couch at home watching a flat TV, you're literally able to immerse them in a full experience. Think of it like IMAX, where you had those funky 3D glasses, but except it was kind of made you dizzy when you took them off. This is just a fully different experience. And I'm really excited to see this transpire over the next year or two, especially because you have these big name companies like Warner Music and some of these big brands coming in heavily into VR. And at CES, there were a lot of companies talking about this in terms of how they're going to onboard people into these entertainment focused experiences. And you're able to interact in ways that you cannot do it in the physical world, that make it unique and make it fun for fans to interact with the actors, interact with the directors, the producers in new ways that are not possible previously in the physical world of movie theaters. Now, in addition to entertainment, like with movies and film and things like that, you have the influencers, the people that are on TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that, where they want to interact with fans, just like this channel, where if I wanted to interact with you as a viewer, I could do it in an immersive way. We could hang out. I could do some wearable drops in my experience. It's exclusive to people that follow this channel. You could put on certain wearables, have cool meetups and things like that within there. And it is like this exclusive feel that has never really existed before. Of course, you have Patreon and things like that, but this is an immersive, one-on-one, intimate experience with these YouTubers and these creators that just hasn't been possible before. And I'm really excited to see that come out in droves over the next year, 2 years in the metaverse, because YouTubers and creators have barely scratched the surface here of how to interact with fans in this new revolutionary way. Lastly, business operations. Now, this one isn't as clear cut because doing a digital twin of your office space could streamline a lot of things that businesses aren't really thinking about. What this new virtual world allows you to do is we could be sitting in our own houses in another side of the world, and I could ring a bell on a virtual world door. I'd be able to open it and someone could come in, talk to me. If I'm not busy, I could mark it as busy and that door would not be able to be opened. This sort of interconnected work experience is a digital twin of a physical office space. And during the pandemic, a lot of office spaces went out of business. A lot of companies now are pulling people back into the offices, but a hybrid model is what a lot of people believe is going to be the future, where you have a hub and then you have a lot of different people working all over the world so that you can address all the different time zones that are needed from customers and so on. So the interconnected aspect of operations is going to be huge here. And that is including the training that I mentioned before of new hires. That's including the different departments being able to interact with each other. When you have sales and marketing interacting with your product team in a streamlined way. So to recap, this isn't just something for virtual meetings. This is something that is going to streamline the operations of a company. This is something that is going to allow people to interact with their customers and users in a unique new way. This is something that is going to allow for a whole new generation of people to construct their own businesses in fully virtual worlds that allows them to be natives within the metaverse and sell to metaverse natives. Businesses are now able to onboard anyone from across the world into their organization to work virtually. And this is what we consider a digital twin, where you're onboarding people into the metaverse to be metaverse natives and sell to metaverse natives as a digital twin to the physical. Of course, with your entertainment industry and your YouTubers and your content creators interacting with their fans in unique ways. And that is going to be a massive space in YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagrammers, all the people that have nurtured fans and customers and users. You are going to be able to interact with them in a physics-defying new way. That is it for my overview of the top 5 ways that you as a business can use the metaverse to your advantage. You can slash costs and increase your productivity in multiple different ways of your business. The difficulty and the barrier is merely trying to get people into your metaverse and your virtual office. People are going to start realizing this is a way to effectively cut costs down and increase productivity. That is it for this episode. Slap a like if you like these metaverse videos. Be subscribed with notification bells on, and I will see you here on the next episode of Hack Crypto.